Solomon was providing nuggets of wisdom that I believe every single human being needs to grasp, because it's going to affect some part of your life. And one thing I love about the Proverbs is that they're so real and practical. We're actually taking the time to go through this first chapter of Proverbs and look at what Solomon was actually dealing with and what he was talking to us about and how it affects our lives in very specific ways. Today we're looking at, in particularly verse 5, a wise man will hear and increase learning. That's an incredible understanding. He's saying a wise man will hear and increase learning. Have any of you ever heard the phrase that people say that experience is the best teacher? But that's not what the Proverbs teaches. The Proverbs says a man will hear and increase learning. Experience is not always the best teacher. For example, just take somebody that works for the bomb squad. I don't think experience is the best teacher for someone who works on a bomb squad whose job is to defuse bombs. The only way I can learn how to know which wire is I got to be blown up first. And so many times people live their lives that way. They don't allow wisdom to come, the lesson to be learned, simply because somebody told you. Simply because you heard it and you increased learning. Very important, because we live in a country where this very important aspect of wisdom is not valued. Very little value is placed on learning from what you're told. Because we live in a world that says you've got to experience it, and it's not real unless I experience it. And also we live in a world where people have been told so many wrong things. They've been taught so many incorrect things that then it gets down to, well, who do I believe? Whose word do I trust? How do I know I'm receiving wisdom or foolishness? And so we're going to take the time to kind of look at that today. A wise man will hear and increase in learning, and a man of understanding will attain wise counsel. Now, anybody remember this? Back in 2001, I believe this was. Aaliyah, remember her, the young actress, R&B star, who was killed August the 25th when a private plane that she and 8 other people, it crashed in the Bahamas. She had just finished doing a music video, and they loaded up the plane and they took off, and then the plane crashed immediately afterwards. Carol and I are very familiar with this airport. We've been there several times. And so I call this section, "A warning is a warning, not a weak opinion." Why would I say such a thing? It's not that I'm belittling this accident. It was a horrible accident, but it was very much preventable, because it later came out that the reason why that plane crashed was because it was overloaded. This is actually CNN News. The small aircraft that crashed last week on the island of Abaco, killing singer Aaliyah and 8 others, was overloaded by hundreds of pounds, officials said Thursday. The extra weight and the way in which it was distributed most likely contributed to the plane crash shortly after takeoff, said John Frank, executive director of the Cessna Pilots Association. According to a report released Thursday by the Bahamian Civil Aviation Department, the plane was loaded to within 805 pounds of its maximum takeoff weight, not counting the weight of the 9 people on board. One of those, a 300-pound bodyguard. In other words, after they loaded up all of the equipment, they could only load 805 more pounds worth of weight after all of the equipment was on. And so they loaded on 8 more people. In other words, they could only afford to have only 800 more pounds put on that plane after the equipment. And they put on 9 people. Clearly the plane was above its certified gross weight when it took off by several hundred pounds at least, said Frank. Immediately after the crash Saturday at Marsh Harbor Airport, airport employees told CNN that the baggage handlers and the pilot of the Cessna 402 had complained before takeoff that the aircraft was overloaded with luggage, but the passengers insisted on taking everything with them. Yeah. So I'm about to make my point as to why I asked the question, who told you so? Have you overloaded your plane with ideas and concepts that the laws of nature and God are not going to support when you try to take off in your life? Now, here is the scenario. Here are some people that know what they're talking about. Baggage handlers, a pilot, people who do this every single day. They know what these planes can carry. They know what the engines can handle. They know the design and the engineering of this aircraft. But here you have some passengers who have now taken what these people in their expertise have told them, and they have simply received it as if though this is just their opinion. And that's the world we live in. Many times people don't recognize that a warning is a warning. It's not their opinion. They're speaking from what they know. They know this plane cannot, not just in our opinion, we feel that this craft can. No, we know this airplane cannot handle this. Well, we taking this stuff anyway. Bring everything. And many times warnings that come to us are dismissed as if though it's just an opinion. And it's not a warning, and it's not a warning that's coming from people who know. What these folks really did was they violated the laws of nature. Aerodynamics, weight, remember all that stuff that we hated studying in physics in school? Physics was the most boring class in the world. Okay, I just flashed back. But this stuff is real. Physics is real. Aerodynamics, the way engines are designed, the way planes are designed, even the way the weight was distributed within the plane. All of that stuff is real. It's the laws of nature. And I'm here to tell you that, ask you this question, have you overloaded your plane, your life, with concepts and ideas that the laws of nature and the laws of God, it's not going to support it?